Moving on from this, I wanted to ask you all, boys. There's a big link today, and I want to read this out to you. Chelsea have made an inquiry to Newcastle for Alexander Isak. The conversations have taken place between the clubs. The Swedish striker would cost over £100 million. Now, I want to be really fair, because we know they've just gone and done this deal for Mark, I think it's Guiu, I think it's pronounced, and everybody's laughing at Chelsea, and I don't think that's right. Everybody's getting mad because they're after all these young kids. They have now gone and made an inquiry for one of the best strikers in the Premier League, probably one of the best strikers in Europe. We know they've spent big before, they can spend big again. Surely this is exactly now what Chelsea need to be doing. Yes, they bought some youngsters, but he's available at £115 million. He guarantees them goals. If they go and do this, surely this would be the sort of the move that signifies a huge change in direction under Todd Boehly and co.
Go ahead, Mo.
Okay. What Terry said is right. If they go and do this, right? This is the piece they need. We all screamed experience and everything. But I'm just going to tell you one thing. You all Chelsea fans sat on shows and on Twitter and here on our chat and said, you guys don't know. We walked away from Olise because we don't want to break our wage structure. Do you think Alexander Isak is going to go to Chelsea and make 80K a week? He's definitely going to ask for more money than everyone else. So what now? What are you saying now? If he goes to, and you said you don't want to pay the money, you don't want to do that, you don't want to break everything, you don't want to break the bank for Olise, but you are willing to break it for Isak now? That just proves that your owners are wrong, and Olise literally rejected the club. Olise just thought that I don't want to join Chelsea, I'm going to join Bayern Munich, so that all of you Chelsea fans, and I'm just talking to you, and you know who you are, who said that, no, we rejected Olise, read the thing, aka Ziad. We rejected Olise because we didn't want to pay him the wages. He is on 120K now. I just Googled it, by the way, weekly. He's on 120K now. And at the current moment, if you go and sign this guy, and I'm not saying you're going to do, if you go and sign this guy, that just proves you briefing the media is just lies. That Olise didn't want to join your club. If you go and do that, it's a good business. I'll praise you for it. But I'm just going to say it as it is. You're going to be, your owners are lying. And the media, all what you said are just lies. But to be honest with you, I actually want to see him at Chelsea. Mo, this is my opinion. I want to see what Isak can do with Cole Palmer. I want to see what Isak can do with Nkunku. I want to see what Isak can do with these guys. Because I think genuinely, I see what Terry is saying. This is going to be very positive for Chelsea. This is Chelsea to the next level. This is Chelsea now moving into the right direction. For all these FFP things that you do, flip for profit FC, flip for profit club, now this is a different story. I want to see him at Chelsea, to be honest. I don't know what Sam thinks about that.
Isak is not going Chelsea, my brother. Isak is not going Chelsea. Let's just stop
Why?
waffling. That's just not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. Because if their logic for Olise is Premier League, level wages, then they're going to have to play Premier League level wages for Isak too. Why do you think they're linked with Jonathan David? I researched his asking point, his current wages. He currently earns 27 grand at Lille. I saw Bayer's wages. His wages is also 13 grand at wherever the hell he plays in Germany. So, yeah, the reality is they ain't going to sign Isak. It's just not going to happen. I think this just financially goes against the plan. I think the quicker Chelsea fans realize their club are genuinely in the mud, the happier they'll be. I think it's funny because every time I have a conversation with a Chelsea fan, they always accuse me of trolling, and they always accuse me of, you just hate us and you're jealous. Someone in the chat is going to mention Lavia and Caicedo because they always say the same repetitive, robotic shit as per usual. Okay, khalas, I'm jealous of Lavia and Caicedo. One guy, we didn't see him all year long. The other guy, half your fan base say Gallagher's the best midfielder. Like, come on, stop lying to yourself. You ain't getting at Isak. Jonathan David is your level. Now, if you do sign him, of course, it'll be an incredible signing. We'll give Chelsea credit. But for me, I look at this situation. I do not see any conclusion in which Isak starts up front for Chelsea next season. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I mean, if a club like Arsenal can't get him, club like City, Liverpool, these clubs can't get him, then Chelsea definitely can't get him. So I expect Chelsea to sign at their size, at their level, which is Jonathan David, Bayer, someone like that, another kid, to add to Guyu and Estevao and the other random kid they signed as well. So big up the Chelsea youth project.
I understand where you're coming from, but where I disagree, this whole Chelsea can't do it. Nobody thought Chelsea would pull off Enzo. Nobody thought they would pull off Caicedo, especially when Liverpool put that big bid in. They then went and got Lavia. I still think Chelsea have got Paul. I still think Chelsea can attract the right talent. I understand what Mo said, that it would potentially prove that they got rejected. But then a lot of Chelsea fans admitted that. You know, Ches came on and said, I think that's PR. I don't believe us. I think we just got rejected and we've got to move on from it and whatever else. But the fact that they've put they know how much it's going to cost because it's very public.
Yes.
The fact they've put the inquiry in it's interesting for me because the one thing I would say is this: we've all heard the conversations and many have laughed at Chelsea for saying you spent a billy and you've got potential, but you've got no one substantial that he's like the guy now. You could probably argue that Palmer is, but no one knew that when they bought him because of his age, right? And lack of experience. But suddenly now they're going to go, right, we're going to keep spending, but we are going to go and get an Isak. They've already bought Tosin in, who I think is very good, but he was free. So I sort of look at it through the lens of we're all saying as Chelsea fans, you've got to go and get players like Isak. And as soon as they're linked to him, we go, ha, you're not going to get them. And I almost feel maybe they won't land him.
But they aren't going to get him.
But this is exactly what they should be trying to do. So look, whether they get him or not is, to me, because I'm not a Chelsea fan, is a little bit irrelevant. This shows their intent. If they're going after players like him, it shows they're not just trying to sign these young up-and-coming talents. They're also going to go and try to get themselves real top quality as well. And I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they'll be putting inquiries in and bidding for players like Isak for PR. They would genuinely be trying to sign them. I really do think
100%. But I want to add
Terry, why did Olise reject Chelsea?
Because he preferred Bayern Munich.
He preferred Bayern Munich. Okay, so it has nothing to do with the wages and the money.
Well, I'm looking at it this way. I agree. If they're really inquiring about Isak, then they got rejected for Olise.
Yes, thank you.
And that's what I've said all along. I said all along, there's either a financial issue there where they're not going to pay over 150 grand a week for anybody, or they're pushing that out as PR as an excuse when they get rejected. It was always one of those two things. And what we said on that first show when it was announced last week when Olise was coming to Bayern is if Chelsea then go for other players that are going to cost similar amounts of money in wages, then we know they got rejected. If, though, everybody they sign this summer, it comes in on 50, 60 grand a week, then that's what I said to Chelsea fans. That's more worrying, in my opinion, than being rejected.
Yeah. I actually think if they go for, I don't care if they, like, if I'm a Chelsea fan, I wouldn't care if I get rejected or not. I want my club to go and sign Isak. I want my club to go and try to negotiate for Isak. Like, this notion of like, I have to be right and I have to defend my club. I don't do that. All I care about at the end, if I'm a Chelsea fan, is that at the end, I want to sit there and have Isak as my striker. I don't care if it's Olise on the right. I don't care. I want to have Isak on. And this is what I want to talk about. Why would Isak leave Newcastle to go to Chelsea? Do we think in the future Chelsea are more lucrative? If Isak, this is my point now. And you know, guys, when you both were talking, all what came to my mind is that, well, if Newcastle don't have to sell now and they fix their PSR problems by the small deals or whatever things they did, why would Isak leave? I understand if Isak leaves Newcastle to go to Arsenal now, who are in the Champions League, challenging for the league title, if he even goes to Liverpool, Man City. But I keep asking myself one question. This is the only thing. Why would Isak leave Newcastle United and go to Chelsea now? This is not 5 years ago.
So you're saying Newcastle are more attractive than Chelsea?
No, I am asking you, do you think that? I actually don't know.
No, you have to make that statement. Don't ask
I
me.
actually think that if you look at the next 5 years, if Newcastle are able to sign players, right? I think Newcastle, with the ownership they have and the money they have, I think Newcastle can be on the trajectory to be better than Chelsea Football Club. In a place better than Chelsea. If they don't sell the Isaks, if they go and get the wingers they are linked to, the Gordon is there. Now Bruno Guimaraes is staying. This is their superstar, whatever. They get their injuries back. They sign defenders. Why are we assuming that Chelsea. I genuinely think I don't think at the current moment Chelsea are that more attractive than Newcastle United. I don't see it until Maresca does his job and prove that he's a competent manager. I think Newcastle still look at to be in the better. Both are in PSR problems. I'm looking at them now. Both are in PSR problems. Both need to solve their finances. But at the end, the owners of, if you're asking me who are the owners I want to be with, I want to be with the Saudis.
But why don't you say that when I was arguing for Olise should go to Man United, you bozo? When I said I trust Dan Ashworth and Barada more than I trust Boli and Iqbali.
Because I don't trust these guys yet.
And you just said the same thing for Newcastle and Chelsea.
I'm going to answer you because I don't trust these guys yet. Don't call me a hypocrite.
See,
let me answer. Don't call me a hypocrite.
Don't
call me a hypocrite. Don't call me a hypocrite. Okay? Let me answer
are we gonna have another fallout here? Someone else leaving?
Let me
go ahead, Mo.
Okay, basically, I don't trust these guys. That Dan Ashworth. Yeah, the reason why, because for Mo, and I'm speaking on my behalf, my this is my opinion. Their first decision of keeping Ten Hag is the wrong decision. So I am not a Man United. I'm not giving them a leeway. I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt that their first decision is wrong for Mo. So it's completely different. But Newcastle United, the Saudis, and I definitely trust the Saudis and the money they have to invest in the club more than Jim Ratcliffe. So that's just to answer Sam. He wants to take
I understand
but
where
I
you're
don't
coming
want to
from.
go into the Man United.
No, I understand where you're coming from. This the one thing I'd say about Chelsea. I'm going to defend Chelsea here. It hasn't been a good 2 years, but they are still more attractive right now than Newcastle. They have a greater and richer history. And even though it's been 2 bad years for Chelsea, only one of those seasons has been significantly better for Newcastle. Chelsea, this is what I'd be saying to Isak. We have had a few bad years, but we've got this new manager that's going to make us play X, Y, and Z way. Got these youngsters who are all going to be a year older. We've invested in Tosin, and we're going to invest in you. We believe your goal-scoring prowess. I mean, if they had Isak last season and Isak was scoring at the same rate it was for Newcastle, they may have made the Champions League, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. Someone like Isak going into Chelsea and scoring 25 league goals, maybe 30, 35 goals in all comps, could be the difference between 6th and a Champions League spot and the difference between no trophies and a trophy. And then you build on that again. I think that Chelsea are in this position, and I know that a lot of their fans, I think, have sort of said, and this is where I disagree with the Chelsea fans slightly, it's okay to keep just buying youngsters and potential, and it will eventually develop into a brilliant team. There's no precedent for that. There's zero precedent for a top team in a very hard league, one of the best leagues in the world, predominantly having young, up-and-coming talent as its core and its spine that has developed into one of the best teams in that league and one of the best teams in Europe. You need that mixture of those youthful, exuberant young talents with an established core. And I look at Tosin, and then you look at players like Isak. Maybe you throw one more player in there through the middle, maybe a goalkeeper of some sort, and suddenly you have this spine that they can grow from. They're not going to build that spine in one summer. It might take them 2 summers to do that. But I think you can sell that to a player like Isak. Now, there's still a risk for Isak. Of course there is. He might go there. It doesn't work. They come 8th, and it's like, wow, I've just committed to 5 years here.
Yeah, but Terry, are you seeing the signs of what you're talking about? Are the signs there? The first part we just spoke about. The signs are signing, Guyu, Estevao, Paez, Tosin.
No. The first signing was Tosin. And where we've got to defend Chelsea and be consistent is none of our clubs are signing anybody, because there's 2 major tournaments on right now, Copa America and the Euros. So the majority of signings have slowed down. They tried to get Sesko. Yes. They tried to get Elise. Now they're both young, but they kind of come into that category of relatively experienced young players. Does that make sense? They're not sort of 19 years old with 4 games to their name. They're experienced individuals, even though they're young. Everybody else is at the Euros, and it's hard to get done. So I don't think that's the one thing where I sided with the Chelsea fans in this whole debate is no one else has done any business yet because of the Euros and Copa America. Yet we're judging Chelsea's summer because of a couple of young signings. Where I challenge Chelsea fans, and they may get these 2 things twisted, is when they say, this is what I want, buying youngsters that will work. I'm like, no, you can't just be settling for that, But I think they're going after someone like Isak is right. And I don't mean this to be disrespectful to Newcastle fans, because I believe that your owners are going to make you a very, 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 very good team. But I still think at this juncture, at this moment in 2024, Chelsea is still a more appetizing prospect than a Newcastle. I really, really do believe that. And it may not be forever, but right now, 2 poor years for Chelsea hasn't made them less desirable than Newcastle, less desirable than Spurs or Aston Villa. They're still Chelsea Football Club, and I think we need to be respectful of that.